gallons of crude oil that has spewed into the Pacific Ocean and messed up the Orange County beaches. We'll talk about that company, which apparently was emerging from bankruptcy just 4 years ago.
Yeah. You only have to read a half a page and you realize what you're dealing with here.
All right, but
It's like PG&E, the same set of guys.
let's continue our team coverage of the spill off the Orange County coast.
You can't say that with a straight face.
I can't.
You know how ridiculous it is.
Team coverage. Live. I forgot live team
Yeah.
coverage. None of this is recorded.
We
We're
got
on
to-
the air right now as we speak.
We got Blake Trolley on.
Yeah, talk about some of the wildlife issues.
What's going on, Blake?
Yeah, so right now, more than 1,600 responders have gone out looking for wildlife. The main concern seems to be birds. Birds seem to be the most affected by oil spill issues. So far, kind of a low number of birds. 4 have been recovered. One died, that was a brown pelican, and officials are saying there were less birds in the area than they were originally expecting. So far, 4 birds recovered, and 1 pelican was killed, and that is the latest numbers we've been given.
Yeah, maybe they knew something. They stayed away. Maybe they sensed it.
Well, they must have smelled it. You'd think that would... What about the dolphins and all the creatures
Sea lions.
swimming out there?
Yeah, it was interesting because when we were watching the press conference, they were keeping it so much about the birds that naturally other reporters started asking about those other animals. And they said with dolphins, they fare a lot better in these situations than birds. Birds essentially, what it comes down to is when the oil gets into their feathers, they can't regulate their body temperature as well. And so that's what causes a lot of deaths in birds. With dolphins, the main issues are kind of more prolonged, and this is from ingesting or possibly breathing in the oil, but they're more chronic issues than they are acute, death like you might see with the birds.
So did the oil reach the wetlands and the nature preserves that are along the coast?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the last, maps of exactly where this has gone today. Mainly I was focused on seeing what wildlife response was. A lot of these birds, however, though, if they are, exposed to this oil, they will make their way back to the wetlands. They'll try to get on dry land to basically regulate their body temperature.
All right, Blake, thank you very much for that update.
Absolutely.
All right, Blake Trolley, KFI News, covering the wildlife angle. Did you ever, this has happened to me, I wouldn't say once a year, but if you do walk along some of the shoreline barefoot, you can pick up a clump of tar on your foot, to the bottom of your foot. It's really...
Oh, if you get tar, that's almost impossible to get off your skin. Up in Malibu, there's still some tar. And we were sitting on the beach there, and I ended up, my leg was laying on, I guess, a pool of tar, and I couldn't get it off until I took a shower that night. You got to scrub it. It's the stickiest stuff in the world.
It's disgusting. So Amplify Energy is the company we're talking about, and they are out of Houston, Texas. That's where their corporate headquarters is. Says they were working on upgrading their aging infrastructure and had plans to initiate new drilling. You believe the site of the leak in the final 3 months of this year.
How many times do you hear that? There's some disaster from an energy company that's like, yeah, we were working to upgrade the infrastructure. I think PG&E kept saying that, didn't it? Oh, yeah, we were in the process. We were just about to get there. Because, that's what the public relations guys tell the executives to say. You change the subject and say, hey, we were working on this, and we were almost there, and we have a big plan over the next few years to invest a lot of money. And you get the reporters to start scribbling that down. Instead of the truth is they've neglected the infrastructure for many years, obviously.
Yeah, there's a quote from a guy by the name of Yoko Sakashida, Oceans Program Director for the Center for Biological Diversity. In 2018, this is an environmental group, I'll say that first, but they went on their own to inspect a bunch of oil platforms, and they said they found a lot of old and corroded infrastructure, a lot of rust.
Yeah. Which probably...
a lot of them more than 40 years old, as we've talked about.
Yeah, which probably goes back to 1980. When they built this oil platform.
They began production in 1981 with this particular place called the Beta Field. and this whole pipeline situation to Long Beach. Says here they process and route crude oil from Ellen and Eureka. Those are the two oil production platforms in the Beta field to an onshore pumping station in Long Beach. It's a 41-year-old, 17.3-mile pipeline that's called the San Pedro Bay Pipeline. So there you got it. It is 41 years old, the pipeline. Now, if it was an anchor, but you might argue that even if it was an anchor, a newer, stronger pipeline might have stood up to an anchor hitting it, if that's what happened.
It should withstand the anchor. I mean, there are not that many things that could hit a pipeline out in the middle of the ocean, but obviously an anchor is one of them, so it ought to be constructed to withstand that kind of impact. I mean, there's no excuse for this. And this is what's frustrating, because, you know, the environmentalists are constantly demonizing oil companies, and they want to get rid of all the fossil fuels, and they're screaming global warming, and they want us all to live in some utopia that we're never going to reach. And these dumbass executives at the oil companies always give them too much ammunition, always give them too many reasons to say, yeah, maybe we ought to stop oil drilling. Maybe we shouldn't use oil and gas anymore, because they can't do the simple things like maintaining their equipment once every 40 years. And wasn't that the problem when we had the natural gas blowout up in Porter Ranch? Same thing. They hadn't replaced a valve in 40 years. I mean, how the hell do you go almost half a century without upgrading your infrastructure? Because they're incredibly cheap and incredibly greedy. And then things blow up, and now we're going to be hearing again, it's like, oh, we should be using gas and oil. Like there's a real alternative.
Apparently in 1999, there was a corroded pipeline that carried oil, water, and gas from the Eureka platform to Ellen, and it leaked 2,000 gallons of oil, which led to the platform being taken offline until 2008. It was offline for like 9 years. At that time, it was owned by another company called Era Energy out of Bakersfield.
Yeah, well,
They co-owned by ExxonMobil.
all these companies, you know, they because they don't care. The guys who run oil companies don't care. Their job is to extract as much oil as quickly as possible, make the profit, make the shareholders happy, plump up their sale price to the next group of boneheads. They have absolutely no interest in the environment.
Well, the CEO said yesterday the Beta field infrastructure has been well maintained throughout the pandemic. We're committed to actually putting capital into the asset.
Yeah,
But I will tell you that the company that owned this previously is the one that went into bankruptcy. And it says here they announced that they had lowered their 2020 capital expenditure budget by approximately $17 million or 37% in response to a decline in commodity prices. So
there you go.
that's the key there is the capital expenditure budget. That's where the infrastructure comes in.
It was cut by over a third in 2020, but you got the crisis manager typing up a press release saying, no, we plan to increase. Yeah, well, 2022 is not 2020. And if you cut your maintenance by a third in 2020, then maybe that's got something to do with what happened today. All that matters is what you did leading up to this moment, not what you're going to do. And maybe the news reporters ought to pick up on that when they're standing there slack-jawed at the press conference. You don't just have to be a stenographer to what the crisis manager has written for these executives.
When we come back, it's a really sad day here at the Johnny Kent. Well, the oil spill is a terrible story, but we're going to be stuck with Garcetti, and nobody knows how long. He may actually finish out his term as mayor. You heard me correct. He may not be going to India anytime soon.
Because nobody in Washington cares about his ambassadorship.
Yeah, it's not a priority.
There's no interest.
We'll talk about that story.
Apparently he's not urgently needed. Johnny Kent, Deborah Marquez News.
The company that owns the pipeline that sprung a leak off the coast of Huntington Beach that you've been hearing Johnny Kent just talking about says it was first told of the leak Saturday morning by the captain of a boat.
The boat noticed the machine immediately contacted the platforms, and the platforms instantaneously started the incident.
Martin Wilshire is the CEO of Amplify Energy. He says about 127,000 gallons of crude oil spilled from the line, the equivalent of 3,111 barrels. Orange County officials dispute the claim, and they say they were told about the spill Friday night. The news is brought to you by Rudo Hero. A homeless man in L.A. has been sentenced to more than 4 years in federal prison for pouring bleach into refrigerators and freezers at various Ralph's grocery stores. The guy pleaded guilty in July. He has a long criminal record that includes felony assault on a police officer, theft, and possession of stolen property. Court records show he was on probation when he tampered with things at the stores. The Supreme Court has begun a new term in which abortion, guns, and religion are all on the agenda.
The justices are also expected to address challenges to the Biden administration's nationwide vaccine mandate, continuation of deferred action for childhood arrivals, or DACA, for young immigrants, partisan drawing of congressional districts with new census data.
And ABC's Catherine Falder says they will hear a case over Harvard's use of racial affirmative action. It's the first time the justices have met in person in over a year because of the pandemic. Justice Brett Kavanaugh is participating remotely because of a positive COVID test. And Seinfeld fans are not at all happy about shrinkage on the show.
Netflix has changed the sitcom's original 4:3 aspect ratio to the newer, more cinematic 16:9. Die-hard fans on social media have aired grievances probably better saved for Festivus, like Jerry's sneaker collection being cut out of an episode. The whole pothole is cut out of Season 8's The Pothole episode. Like the time Jerry stole a woman's marble rye, other fans have resorted to desperate tactics, including one guy who went and bought the whole 9-season DVD set so he says he can watch the show properly. Netflix started streaming Seinfeld October 1st. Amy King, KFI News.
We have a crash on the 22 in Garden Grove.
Westbound 22 approaching Euclid. That's where the carpool and left lanes are taken away. Things are really heavy coming away from about past there. Also, it's going to be a busy ride if you're heading into Commerce. Southbound side of the 5 at Atlantic, where crashing to the right shoulder, but you're still seeing delays there coming away from just about the 60. Northbound 110, that's going to be a heavy ride leading South LA from Manchester over to the 101, while the southbound side is heavy from Stadium Way over to Manchester. And things are pretty busy if you're heading on the 91 East, coming out of Anaheim Hills from Rear Canyon to Green River, and then again from about Maple on over to the 15. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jay Owen.
Rates subject to change without notice. Minimum loan amount and certain restrictions apply. 50% loan to value and 740 FICO credit score. First lien only. This is a dramatization. Cash out will vary. Subject to credit approval. NMLS 3290. Loans made or arranged pursuant to a California financing law license number 6036970. Equal housing lender. Can you believe how much the Garcia's house sold for? I know. Home values are so high right now. I wish I could pull about $50,000 from my home's equity without selling. You can. We just pulled cash from our home's equity to redo our backyard this summer. We used IntelliLoan, and get this, our monthly payments actually went down. IntelliLoan offered us a 1.875% rate and APR with no points or lender fees. Wow, 1.875% with no points and no lender fees. Hello, new pool. Take the number. It's 800-918-6200. 800-918-6200. Or just go to IntelliLoan.com. IntelliLoan. Borrow smart.
Southland weather from KFI. Chance of showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight. We do have a slight chance of showers in some places in the morning. Then it will be sunny with highs upper 70s for Metro LA, mid 70s to low 80s in the valleys, upper 70s to low 80s in inland OC and the IE. We lead local live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Deborah Mark.
Many Wall Streeters are predicting the inflation plane is ready to take off. At Owning, we still have a few refi seats left, with 30-year fixed 2.75% rate in APR, with no closing costs on them. If the experts are right and the inflation plane flies high, APRs this low may be a distant dream. Don't mess around. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com before the refi market flies completely away from you. Maybe the experts are wrong and rates don't go up any higher. But if they're right and the plane is flying with mortgage rates reaching the 4s, you'll kick yourself hard that you didn't grab a seat now. Don't be a dummy. Save the money.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Subject to credit approval. Call 833-852-6464 for terms and conditions. Equal housing lender.
Call 833-2-OWNING for a 30-year fixed refi with a 2.75% rate in APR today. That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
During the extended 2-day sale at Ashley Home Store, take advantage of 50% off store-wide, plus another 5% off when you finance for 36 months. Going on now through October 11th only. America's #1 mattress and furniture store, Ashley Home Store. This is home.
radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad right on your phone. Just click, listen, approve, then hear it on the radio. Create your customized ad today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
At Ralph's, fresh groceries are our thing, so we check your delivery order for freshness at every step from farm to store and pick and pack every veggie in your free pickup order with care, because we treat your food the way we'd want ours to be treated. We're fresh every day, so shop anyway. Ralph's, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
And right now, save on fresh jumbo avocados. They're the perfect topping for your tacos and 2 for just $4 with your card. Ralph's, fresh for everyone.
Accident, moving to the call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
There's red, blue, and then there's you. You're a free thinker and believe the best idea should win, no matter whose idea that is. KFI AM 640 is made for independent thinkers like you. Heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Johnny Ken Show, Chuck Cookout and Ken Shampoo, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Hi, we'll continue to stay with KFI News for updates on the big oil spill in Orange County off the coast of Huntington Beach, which has closed pretty much all the Orange County beaches. Now, for how long, we don't know yet. Days, weeks, months, not clear. The cleanup continues.
Yeah, they gotta wait and see if the dead animals are going to start washing ashore.
Yeah, so far just 3 birds. Pretty low number of wildlife, so
Hard to believe. I mean, because they've got, how many thousands of acres has the oil spread?
yeah,
I think they're going to find more than 3 birds.
I read one story where a guy was out in his fishing boat and he saw some dolphins, and he said, well, I couldn't really tell them not to go that way, but he said they seem to get around it okay. So, I think you're talking about
well, it's
don't
like,
go there, there's an oil spill, you'll get sick.
it's like Blake said, I guess the dolphins will end up with health problems that more chronic down the road.
That is very possible. They stuck in some oil just swimming around. Well, bad news. It was July when we finally heard for sure that Los Angeles Mayor Eric Yoga Pants Garcetti would be leaving for India. He was named as Biden's nominee for the U.S. ambassadorship to India. It is now October 4th, and there is no movement to report in the confirmation of his nomination by the U.S. Senate. Now, we engaged our listeners in a campaign to contact Senate members.
And I guess we failed. The Biden nominated 64 people to be ambassadors, and the Senate has confirmed only 2 of the 64. And that's a pretty slow pace.
And considering by now the news cycle is being gobbled up by these massive spending bills, I don't think they're paying any attention, probably for a while, to ambassadorships.
At this rate, by the time he gets approved, he will not be mayor, and Biden probably won't be president. So,
yes, his term runs out next year as mayor.
Yeah.
Actually, not until the election in November. They moved the elections to the regular November time frame. It used to be like in July.
So here's a quote from Rick Taylor, an LA political strategist. Never heard of this guy, but he must know something. He said mentally and physically he's moved on. Physically. Most people I talk to think he's a little disconnected from the day-to-day work of being the mayor, which is understandable. No, it's not. He's getting paid. What do you mean it's understandable? It's understandable not to do your job for, what, another year and a half?
He's not motivated by pay, John. He's an Angelino like you, and he works hard for the people. The next paragraph is the spokeshole, Alex Commissar, who disputed that characterization. The mayor's schedule is very busy. Events focused on homeless housing, clean energy, the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, and a free public transportation program for students.
Okay. This is Garcetti Day. Yeah, a commissar is one of these paid knob slobberers. And so his idea of an active mayor is one who goes to a pointless meeting on homeless housing, another pointless meeting on clean energy. The Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, what's the pressing issue there? I mean, these are all these nonsense meetings where everybody sits at a table and bloviates. Nothing gets done. And then the thing is, they've got this stenographer for the LA Times named Dakota Smith. She gives Commissar, like, endless quotations here. It's like, Mr. Knobslobberer, tell me how you're defending Garcetti so I can go on and on and on my article so that people in LA can understand just what a good man he is. This is what the journalists are like at the LA Times. Yes, Mr. Spokesman, I know you're paid to lie for a living, but go ahead. Give me more paragraphs I can write down in my notebook.
Well, she can't get to Garcetti. This is as close as she can get for a quote.
But listen to what this knobslobberer Commissar says. Mayor Garcetti is a remarkably hard-working public servant. And those of us who work with the mayor every day see he is pushing as hard as ever for results and progress on his agenda. Oh my, I'm going to vomit. Commissar said all key roles within the Garcetti administration are filled with experienced, talented public servants who are working as hard for Angelenos today as their first days on the job.
These are a few of my favorite things.
Must be everybody in that homeless housing department, right? They're all breaking their asses.
A lot of the rest of the story, though, is about how people are leaving Garcetti's employment. Apparently his staff is down significantly since the announcement was made that he has been confirmed, or rather that he is the pick for the ambassadorship.
Right. They're not working as hard as
15% drop in staff compared to a year ago.
We're going to continue being the killers that we are.
It was 250, now it's down to 213, which is great, actually. It should be 0. Why does the mayor need 250 people? What do they do? Everything in the town, everything in the city has gotten so much worse since he's become mayor.
Well, look at that. There's one person who's both Garcetti's deputy chief of staff and deputy mayor of city services. Woo! Wow, someone's doing double duty. It's getting so tough.
No, that must be an exhausting day.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so a lot of this apparently, I guess Ted Cruz met with Garcetti, and you may say why. U.S. Senator Ted Cruz is a member of the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, and if that's who's going to confirm the nominations, and I guess they just spent some time talking. But
well, because he and the other Republicans are holding up Biden's nominees. Senators can do that. They can block nominees, even if they're in the minority.
Yeah, they did this to Trump, too. I mean, just every president now.
Oh, that's why Trump had all his cabinet secretaries were officially acting secretaries.
Yeah, because they kept hoping that he'll have to be forced from office, right?
Right. So nobody.
The Republicans are doing the same thing because they think maybe Biden will have to go to the home.
So Garcetti is stuck here, and he hates it, and he wants out, and he can't leave, and Biden can't do anything about it. I guess there's no emergency in India that requires Garcetti's presence.
It's an ambassadorship.
I thought it's very important.
I know you're anxious to get rid of him.
Yeah, I know, but there's got to be something. I mean, can he go out and organize a vaccine line? Remember when he was running around Dodger Stadium with his little clipboard?
Yeah,
trying to get organizing testing lines, vaccination lines. Boy, they need some of that in India, don't they?
I'm trying to find out how much this job pays.
An ambassadorship?
Did he pay the same, or would India pay more or less? Is it based on the cost of living?
You would think. You would think they'd be like France and England would pay better than Slovenia.
Yeah. I put it in backwards. I'm getting how much the Indian ambassador to the U.S. pays. Not how much the American ambassador to India.
They've got nuclear weapons in India. What if they get pissed off at Pakistan or China, huh? We need somebody like Garcetti to soothe and console if their prime minister gets too crazy.
Yeah. Do you believe this one paragraph in the story that Garcetti supporters are now wondering if he will serve out his full term? Garcetti supporters? Really?
Who's that?
Yeah, it says here, the uncertain timeline has Garcetti supporters wondering whether the mayor will end up serving his entire second term. Others say, though, it should be over in a matter of months.
I want names of a Garcetti supporter.
They're not named. It's just a generic paragraph about support.
Yeah, that's right. That's Dakota Smith, boy. World-class genius journalist for the LA Times.
All right, we got more coming up.
John and Ken, KFI, Deborah Marquez, news.
Members of the International Association of Theatrical Stage Employees have voted to authorize a strike that many film and TV productions could shut down. The European Union's drug regulator says it supports booster shots of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for people 18 and older. Some countries in the EU already have started giving booster shots. The Department of Health and Human Services has lifted a Trump-era restriction by reversing a ban on abortion referrals by federally funded family planning clinics. We have trouble on the 5. That's next.
Joe Biden is seeking one of the biggest tax increases in history.
Yeah, now experts warn these massive tax increases on capital gains and businesses will kill jobs, wreck the economy, and sink the stock market.
All this week, Sean Spicer and Lindsay Keith are on Newsmax warning of Biden's tax madness in their special reports.
Each night, Spicer and company talk to the experts on what's coming and how you can protect your hard-earned money.
Plus, Sean Spicer reveals new details of his upcoming book, Radical Nation. In Radical Nation, you'll find the shocking truth of the Biden-Harris agenda.
So tune into Spicer and Company every evening on Newsmax, America's channel for real news.
Newsmax is on every major cable system. Check your cable guide.
Or get Newsmax on most streaming services or download the free smartphone app now.
Newsmax covers the really big stories that you need to know.
Get Sean Spicer's Radical Nation and make sure you watch Spicer and Company on Newsmax tonight. Walter, how much did you save?
I saved $120 a month when I switched to AIS. When I heard the jingle, I remembered the phone number and gave a call. 1-800-777-4AIS.
1-800-777-4AIS. Southland weather from KFI. Sunny tomorrow, highs mid-70s to low 80s. This report brought to you by AIS Insurance. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. We have a crash on the 5 in Santa Ana.
Northbound 75 right before 17 for the second lane from the left is blocked. It's going to be pretty heavy from first and kind of overall a slow ride from Jamboree. Getting into Garden Grove, westbound 22 just before Euclid. Still got a crash here in the carpool and left lanes. Traffic there backing up right around the 57. Eastbound 60 right before you get to Brea Canyon. Watch out for a stalled big rig in two of the middle lanes. Things are already pretty heavy there from Fullerton Road. And a slow ride if you're heading out of Hollywood, South 101 from Santa Monica Boulevard to the 110. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jay Owen.
This report is sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross.
Anthem Blue Cross and Heart of America are helping schools across the country increase their access to healthy food. Learn more at anthem.com/ca/SPARTS. Anthem Blue Cross is the trade name of Blue Cross of California.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. Have you still not gone solar? Let me help clear up some misconceptions. Solar doesn't cost you money. It saves you money. And it doesn't matter where your panels are made. It matters who makes them. And those $29.95 solar specials, they're not what's going to end up on your home. Sunlux left all of that behind to build a company that does solar better. Time for solar. It's time for Sunlux. Get started today at sunlux.com. That's sunlux.com. CSLB 1008374.
The new normal means protecting yourself and others by getting a COVID test before and after travel and when you may have been exposed. Even if vaccinated, you could still contract COVID, especially during these holiday and winter seasons. COVIDclinic.org offers rapid testing at locations throughout SoCal, with results usually within an hour. No cost to patient testing also available throughout all SoCal locations. Visit COVIDclinic.org to book an appointment near you. COVIDclinic.org.
Can you believe the holidays are almost here? When you think about that, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For me, it's the smiling faces of friends and family as we celebrate together. I'm Larry Green of System Tailors, America's #1 designer and installer of elegant outdoor living systems. Today, I'd like to help bring a smile to you and your loved ones' faces, too. For a limited time, System Tailors is sharing our exclusive friends and family pricing. This is your chance to save big on an outdoor makeover that will make every get-together more memorable than ever. From a new patio or fire pit to upgrading your driveway or entry, take advantage of the low prices during our Home for the Holidays Friends and Family Savings event. Get started right now by calling 800-PAVE-004. That's 800-PAVE-004. Hurry, this exclusive Friends and Family pricing won't last forever. 800-PAVE-004 or SystemTailors.com.
All orders must be placed by October 31st, and installation must commence within 60 days of sale. Financing subject to third-party approval. See website for full offer details. Contractor's license 661575.
There's
never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
Have you been denied a home loan or refinance because you're self-employed, earn 1099 income, or even a real estate investor? You're missing out. Most lenders make approval seem impossible, especially if you're self-employed. Stop watching everyone take advantage of the lowest mortgage rates in history while you're stuck on the sidelines. Accelerate Capital, the premier lender designed for the self-employed. Our approval process is based on common sense, using bank statements, 1099 income, profit loss statements, rental income, or even stated income to qualify at the lowest rates available. Fast. Conventional lenders cannot do this. When others say no, we say yes. Call 800-811-9702, 800-811-9702, or visit acceleratecapital.com.
EXCEME, acceleratecapital.com.
Equal housing lender. Call for details. NMLS ID number 1165716. Not all will qualify. California DFCI license number 41DDO45150. Additional restrictions may apply. Loans made or arranged pursuant to the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
The CVS that I used to go to, Margaret, if you paid with cash, you're going to give your change, and man, she would stick that tongue out and that thumb, and she would hit that thumb, lather it up with that saliva, and peel you off four singletons.
Well, that's old school.
I said, hey, sweetheart.
The Tim Conway Jr. Show, weeknights at 6.
I've got a vision for what she looks like. And she's just kind of looking over her glasses at you as you lecture her about, hey, yeah, sweetheart.
On KFI.
John and Ken Show, John Covell and Ken Shampo. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, so I was able to find that the U.S. ambassador to India, which is supposed to, Garcetti is supposed to leave us for Wish tomorrow, but that probably won't happen. So anyway, between $125,000 to like $160,000 pay. That's basically.
Well, that's pretty good money for a guy who has no obvious talent. Like, has no skills, has accomplished nothing. Life is not fair.
One of the other big stories today, and I'm hardly affected by it, but it's this big Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp outage. It's worldwide.
Man, this is great. I hope it's down forever. I really do.
You okay, Deborah Mark, or?
She's on the phone.
Oh, because she can't.
No, Chris Little called me about the oil spill story, so that's what we're discussing. But
what's he going to do about it?
he was telling me something that I might get for the top of the hour.
I see.
So I just put him on hold.
Yeah, put him on hold.
Okay.
Permanent hold.
He's on hold. But yes, I'm affected. Yes, no, I'm affected by the outage. Good thing I don't have anything good to post today.
No dog pictures.
Well,
Really.
right, I'd be really pissed off that I wouldn't be able to post. So I'm okay. But I did forget, and I started going to my phone and looking at...
Why don't you count how many times you go for the phone to get on social media?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
There's
not
no
gonna lie.
no Instagram, no Facebook. And,
I know.
Wow, no pet photos.
Well, I
No
can
dog
text
pictures.
you and Ken. If you guys
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, do that.
I do have a cute one that I did post on Friday. Perhaps you saw.
I can't. No, I didn't see it.
Okay, I'll send it to you right away.
Apparently Facebook's, one of their reps, what's her real name? Antigone Davis?
Antigone.
Antigone? Is that a man or a woman?
I don't know.
Well, you pronounced it right. I thought
Well,
you did something.
that's Antigone is a character in a famous ancient book.
Oh, you got me there. See? You read more books, ancient books. Ancient books.
Yeah, I read.
What, is the Bible an ancient book? What qualifies as an ancient book?
I don't know, but
this person was live on CNBC defending the company over the whistleblower accusation story that was on 60 Minutes. I don't know if you heard about that. But,
yeah.
The outage occurred right when the person was on live. It sounds funny.
No, the thing is, it's the whole internal system of Facebook. None of the email, nobody can access their email. Facebook employees, and people can't even get inside the building because their badges weren't working to access the doors.
Have they been hacked? Have they been ransomware?
It seems
Do
like
we know?
it's
Because they're not saying much about the cause.
because it's such the infrastructure of the internet is so massive around the world. It's difficult right away to pinpoint where the problem is. So everybody figured, well, it was some outside issue because that's what's happened in the past. But this time it's internally. I don't know if maybe somebody destroyed their system. Wouldn't that be great? It's kind of weird that it comes a day after the whistleblower went on 60 Minutes and in the middle of the Wall Street Journal producing all these internal documents. It just seems like there's a boom, boom, boom here. Like there's a coordinated effort to destroy the company.
Yeah, you're right. Facebook employees, they've had to talk through their work-provided Outlook email accounts. Oh, my God. Facebook engineers have been sent to the company's U.S. data centers to try and fix the problem. Although there is word in the last half hour that they were getting closer to...
there's something called a domain name system. And it's a DNS for short. And the DNS tells systems how to find Facebook.com or Instagram.com. And all those records do not exist anymore. Oh, somebody wiped out the record of how to route a system to connect with Facebook and Instagram. So that when you go online and you type in Facebook or Instagram.com, it's fed into a system to locate that particular website. And right now that's a dead end.
Wow.
So...
yeah, because the problem cascaded. Facebook is used to sign into many other apps and services.
I don't know what to do.
People couldn't log into shopping websites or sign into their smart TVs or their thermostats, internet-connected devices.
People are going to freeze. People are going to...
what are we going to do? It's going to be like the terrible old days.
We're going to be thrown back into the 20th century.
So this here is unlikely a cyber attack. Because hack generally does not affect so many apps at once. Said two members of Facebook's security team who spoke on a condition of anonymity.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe anything they say anyway.
They think it most likely stemmed instead from a misconfiguration of Facebook's server computers, which were not letting people connect to sites like Instagram and WhatsApp. So they're keeping an eye on that situation. Yeah. Okay, you two are okay? Because John spies people on Facebook and Deborah Martin.
Well, now I just tried, just to see what was going on, and now it says that I have to rejoin Facebook.
You might get on and find out that all your dog photos are wiped out.
Well, good thing that I have them on my cell phone under photo.
You got a backup? All right, good.
Of course.
All right. This is one person in the article reading said this is epic. Epic.
Oh, my God. You imagine billions of people around the world can't access social media. Ah!
All right, we got more coming up.
John and Ken, KFI, Deborah Marquez News, KFI Am 640.
If you didn't like that opinion, keep listening. We've got a few more.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The After Effects on Deborah Mark live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Oil from a busted pipeline off the coast of Huntington Beach has been spotted along Laguna Beach.
Coast Guard officials say the oil is headed south.
We know that there is oil off the coastline showing up on the beaches in the forms of small quantities. We call them tar balls or patties. It's a sticky oil that gets caught in the sand.
Captain Rebecca Orr says more than a dozen boats are working to surround and retrieve the crude oil. Amplify Energy's Martin Wilshire says divers are trying to pinpoint if the leak was a structural failure or a ship's anchor. Wilshire says 127,000 gallons may have leaked on Saturday, which is the equivalent of 3,111 barrels. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
Efforts have been going on to save wildlife from that spill.
Wildlife teams are now looking for what they call oiled animals in an effort to save them.
We're currently actively searching from north of Bolsa Chica down to Laguna and farther south.
Dr. Michael Sicardi with the Oiled Wildlife Care Network says so far 4 birds have been found and one of those birds has died.
Unfortunately, the brown pelican had chronic injuries that required us to humanely euthanize it yesterday.
4 wildlife care facilities are now standing by, ready to take in animals affected by the oil spill. In Huntington Beach, Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Congresswoman Michelle Steele, who represents most areas in coastal Orange County, has asked President Biden to declare OC a major disaster area.
That will make additional federal assistance available for state and local agencies because they are spending a lot of money right now and, working to respond to this disaster.
She told the Gary and Shannon show the money will also help individuals and businesses impacted by the spill. Part of MacArthur Park near downtown L.A. will shut down temporarily later this month to clean up the place. About 200 homeless people live in the park's south side next to the lake. The area is set to shut down October 15th for 10 weeks. L.A. City Councilman Gil Cedillo's office says the homeless in MacArthur Park will be offered housing and services. A man on an Amtrak train in Tucson, Arizona has opened fire on police, killing a DEA agent. Another DEA agent and a Tucson police officer also got shot. Tucson Police Chief Chris Magnus says a bunch of officers from different agencies had boarded the train while it was stopped at a station.
They were checking for illegal guns, money, drugs. This is something they do, as I said, routinely at pretty much all transit hubs.
The shooter got into it with cops while officers were detaining someone else. The shooter holed up in Boston and was found dead. President Biden is blaming Republicans in Congress for stalling legislation to raise the government's debt limit. He says Republicans raised the national debt 3 times during the Trump presidency, but now